Hey ladies, please go ahead, like this video, subscribe, and join my mailing list so you can have access to the Sugar Lady Academy. This is where you go to receive spiritual downloads and transmissions from my dark feminine brain into your brain so you can build new neural pathways and gain a whole new way of looking at men, at looking at money, and looking at your life so you can live your sweetest life possible. Hey ladies, I want to talk about not having credit to buy a house or to invest in real estate and how that should not affect you if you are dating and having relationships with men properly. First, if you hear a lot of noise and traffic in the background, I'm in Santo Domingo right now looking at real estate. And as some of you know, it's a very busy city, so you're probably going to hear a lot of background noise. I want to talk to you about the first house I ever bought when I was 24 or 25. It's a single family home. It was a house for me to live in with my children. At this time, I did not really have credit. I hadn't really established a lot of credit because I hadn't really used credit cards. I didn't have any parents to co-sign for me. You know, I tried to get a mortgage, but I just didn't qualify because I had not established credit. So when you have not established credit, your credit score will be low. That doesn't even mean, that your credit is necessarily bad. You just don't have any credit. So my credit score was low because of that. And I did have some things on there, some late payments and some things that were unpaid. So I had a very low credit score. I think it was like 536. It was really low. It was bad. So I could not get a mortgage. But what I did have, I had a sugar daddy. Okay? I didn't even know he was my sugar daddy at the time. I thought he was my friend, a guy who liked me, who happened to be older than me, but I didn't have the word sugar daddy in my vocabulary at the time. He was just a guy who liked me more than I liked him. He was older, he had some money, he had a stable job and some income. I didn't know he was my sugar daddy. I realized that years later. He co-signed for me. He co-signed the loan so I could buy a house. He did not pay the mortgage for me, but he used his credit so that I would qualify for the loan. So that is one of the things I want to talk to you about is that if you are trying to buy a house right now and you cannot get a mortgage because of your credit, if you are dating men, especially if you are sleeping with men, you shouldn't need credit. Ladies, yes, it's good to have a good credit score, but if you do not have a good credit score, you should be able to ask the men you're involved with to take that burden on for you, to take debt on for you, to sign their name for you, to take responsibility for you in that way. Especially if you're sleeping with them or if they're trying to sleep with you, I feel it's only right that if you're risking your life for them, they should at least be willing to risk their money for you or their credit score for you. It's in my belief that if you have men around you that are trying to sleep with you or that are sleeping with you, they should be co-signing for you. Co-signing is the last thing I would accept from them. What I think is even better is them just giving you the money. Them just giving you cash to buy a house, okay? I know that's a lot of money and not all people have that amount of money. What I personally like to do, so I already have the houses that I live in and that my family lives in. The point I'm at in my journey is where I'm buying investment properties that I rent out on Airbnb. And because, yes, it's true. Well, at least it's true for me. There are some women this is not true for. There are some women who have provider men in their rotation that literally just hand them hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars regularly. That is not me at this point. I don't get it like that. Yes, I get bags, but I'm not getting that many bags and those super high amounts frequently. It's happened a couple times where I've gotten huge amounts of money, but that's not a regular thing for me. And because it's not that easy for me to just go and spend $300,000 or $500,000 cash on a house in the United States. Okay? When I buy properties, I prefer the method of just paying in cash so that I do not need to get a loan from a bank. I don't like taking loans from banks. I like to do things like that, like very sparingly, because I don't like the burden of debt, the psychological burden of debt on my shoulders. It just kind of freaks me out. And if I do take on any debts, they're very short term. I don't like the idea of having a 30-year or 15-year or 10-year mortgage. That just doesn't work well with my particular nervous system. For some people, they feel perfectly fine about that. I'm not wired for that, at least not right now in my life. So I just like to get all the money up front and just buy the house and have no mortgage, because that is my investing style that works well with my type of nervous system. It makes more sense for me to buy real estate in other countries where things are more affordable. It doesn't cost nearly as much money to buy real estate in the Dominican Republic. You can still find properties for like $50,000, $60,000, $100,000. And that's a lot easier for me to come up with. So that's why I like to do it the way that I do it. The point of this video is telling you that you actually don't need credit to buy a house, whether it's a house to live in or if you're looking to buy investment properties. You do not need credit. It's good to have credit, but if you don't have credit, it's not really that big of a deal. The men can be your bank, okay? They can co-sign mortgages for you. They can just give you the cash to buy the houses. Or worst case scenario, they can loan you money, okay? I don't like borrowing money from men. If a man loans me money, the first thing I think is he doesn't like me that much because he wants me to pay the money back to him. I don't like that feeling, but I would maybe take that because I could probably borrow the money at a super low interest rate because he's trying to get something from me. That may be something I might consider, but I think the best option is always have him just give you the cash. Okay, and if he doesn't have a whole bunch of cash, buy a less expensive home, something that he can afford. If you need to, you can get money from 3 or 4 or 5 men at the same time, put all their little bit of money together, make a lot of money, and go buy what you want to buy. That would be my best advice if you do not have credit or you don't wish to take on debt in your own name. That's what I would recommend. And obviously, throughout all of this, you should be working on building up your credit score. Definitely. You do want to have a good credit score at some point, but I know it does take time to do that. And there are different things you can do to rebuild or just initially build your credit score. It'll take some time, a couple of years, but you can do it. But until then, if you need to buy something now and you have men around you, that would be the first place I would go. Men are there to be your bank. Men are there to help you. Men are there to serve you and provide for you, especially if you're putting up risk for them. Especially if they have access to your life, your time, your body, or if they are even attempting to have access to all of that, this would be a great time for them to prove to you how much they like you, how much they want to love you, how much they want to care for you. And this would be a great opportunity for them to show you what you can expect in the future from them. That's what I have to say about that. Ladies, you do not 100% need to have credit to buy a home. If you have men, you do not need credit. Men will be your credit. Men will be your bank. Think about that, okay? If The men in your life say no. They will not take out a loan for you. They will not co-sign a loan for you. They will not give you the cash. This is a very good thing if this happens to you, because now you understand who wants to provide for you and who does not. Now you know who is capable of providing for you and who is not. Now you know who's very serious about you and who is not. So you don't even need to get angry with the men that do not want to be part of you buying a house. You should be very happy. They just gave you great time-saving information. If you are sleeping with a man who has the means, or even doesn't have the means, okay, to buy you a house or give you money to buy a house, help you in some way buy a house, okay? If he says no and you're sleeping with him, this is very clear feedback to you that this is not a good person to be sleeping with. He just told you he either really can't afford to do this for you. If he cannot afford to provide housing, you shouldn't be having sex with him, because that means he can't take care of you when you're pregnant or after you have a baby. That means he cannot take care of a baby. He just told you that. If he does have the money and he just doesn't want to, that means you're sleeping with somebody who doesn't like you that much. He doesn't like you enough to actually provide and protect. He likes you enough to sleep with you. That's yucky. That's a yucky, gross, icky situation, and you should stop sleeping with him right now. And the fact that he's the type of man that sleeps with women he doesn't really like, that tells you even more about him, where he's at psychologically. He's doing yucky things. He's being a yucky guy. And if he's sleeping with you without liking you that much, he's sleeping with a bunch of other people he also doesn't like that much. And this is a clear indication that he's not even valuing himself. He doesn't value where he puts his sperm. He doesn't value family, because he is willing to put his babies into whoever will let him. You need to stop sleeping with a guy like that. If you're already sleeping with him, stop now. Cut it out. There's other people you can sleep with. If you're the type of person that needs to go sleep with somebody, there are other people you can sleep with that will benefit your life more and will protect your future offspring more. And even if you're not planning on having children with these people, sometimes it happens by accident, and you don't want to be tied to a man that is no good for you for many, many years to come. And you also, if you can prevent it, you don't want to have to, have an abortion, because that can be very emotionally painful and traumatic for you. So you want to try to prevent that as much as possible as well. If you reach out to men that are in your life and you want their assistance in buying a home or buying an investment property, and they say yes, that is awesome, because they're proving to you how they feel about you, and they're showing you that they want to provide for you. This is great news. If they say no, this is also great news, because you know exactly who to stop sleeping with. You know exactly who to just put into a friend zone, a platonic friend zone, and kind of distance yourself from him. Either he can't help you because he doesn't have enough money, or he just simply doesn't want to because he doesn't like you all that much. So either way, you get to win. You will win either way. You either get what you want, which is assistance in buying real estate, or you get to eliminate some people, or at least distance them from you, from your time, from your body. And, if maybe there was a guy that you talked to about this and you thought he liked you, maybe you're not sleeping with him yet. Now you know that you probably don't want to start sleeping with him, because he just told you he can't afford this. So you don't want to start sleeping with somebody who already told you they can't afford to support you or, support a future child. I mean, housing is like the most basic thing. That would be like the first thing a man would provide. Like, that's pretty standard. having a roof over your head, that's like one of the first things. That and food. If he's telling you up front that he's not interested in being part of that, you already know he's not the guy for you and you should not start sleeping with him. So those are just some extra psychological tips there to help you think about the situation. Talk to you later. Bye for now.